Hey guys, welcome to this new video. I want to try something new for my channel, my YouTube channel, and for Facebook. Um, I want to talk about certain film genres and kind of give you my feedback and just feelings about these certain genres and kind of state, what I expect whenever I watch a film that's a part of that genre, or, if I find out when I'm watching the film, what kind of the genre it's a part of. So all of these videos, when this is kind of my first one in this new series of videos I hope to make, where I kind of explain kind of my personal views of each genre and what I expect from it each and every time I watch a film that's kind of a part of that genre. Um, so first and foremost, guys, uh, and by the way, this is for action movies, so this is for the action genre. Um, I think action should be incorporated into the story well. It should just be action for the sake of action. A good example of this is the film Iron Man. Um, they were able to give you the story first and the action second, and I think that's a good thing. Also, a lot of people didn't like Iron Man 2, its sequel, um, because of the fact that they put storyline before action, and unfortunately, in the end, that's kind of what killed the second one. Um, I personally still like it, and there's a lot of people still that really like the sequel. But back to the original, the original really truly put the story before the action, and when the action scenes happened, they blew you away, and they were there for a reason. So I guess that's another reason why I just really appreciate that movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. The Dark Knight did that also, where they put storyline before action. The action was incorporated into it. It was the secondary thing, and not the first thing on the director's mind, which was Christopher Nolan for that movie. Um, so I think each and every action film should do something like that. Secondly, I think every action film should have interesting and developed characters, and this actually goes for a lot of genres. In fact, I can't even name a genre right now that shouldn't have this. Um, I think if you really want to get your viewers into the movie, if you really want them to fall in love with these characters, and you really don't want them to get hurt, or if you want them to succeed, have this desire to make them succeed, and have this desire to never let them get hurt or killed. Um, so I think it's very important to have interesting and developed characters. I think the film Inception is a good example of this. We care about these characters. We want them to succeed. We don't want them to die. We want them to, be the good guys in the end and succeed over the bad guys. Um, I think it's just something very important to have in a movie. Also, I think action scenes, I kind of already explained this, they should exist for a reason. Don't just say, I guess a good example of this, of something not to do, is if you look at the film Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon, um, Michael Bay would probably have a very hard time explaining why the action scenes are happening the way they are and when they're happening, because that whole movie was just, oh, we'll give you an action scene. Oh, and here's a little bit of story. Oh, and here's another action scene again. A little bit more story. Oh, here's another action scene, by the way. It was just one of those kind of movies. And I really don't think a film should do that. I really think kind of like Iron Man, where give us the story first, put the action second, incorporate that action into the storyline. Really treat the storyline as if it were your own child or your loved one. Treat it with respect, treat it with love, treat it like you really mean and care about it. Um, I think it's very important. Um, I think also every action film should have some kind of contending philosophy and or message that can make it stand up to films like Academy Award winning films, Golden Globe winners. Provide some form of philosophy or message in your film that can make your film stand up to those kind of movies and possibly even make it nominated for Best Picture. Inception managed to do this. Um, Saving Private Ryan really is an action movie, but there's action scenes in it. It's more of a war film. That managed to do it, and unfortunately, it didn't win that year. But a lot of people think, like me, should have won that year over Shakespeare in Love. Um, it's things like that that really help you succeed in the end. Um, and I know most films. I've seen plenty of good films that don't have a message, but they're there for a reason. They're there for a good reason. Um, if you can at least do that, I think that's really neat too to do. But at the same time, I think it is kind of cool to have some form of philosophy like The Matrix or some form of message. Um, I guess kind of like Shutter Island, but that's a different genre. Um, that really make your film stand out. And now on to the negatives, like things that I think an action film should never do, no matter what film it is, no matter who the director is. Never do these things. Never have a 2 hour action scene. I've seen it before, and I don't want to see it again. I guess a good example of this is the film The Rock by Michael Bay again. Uh, so pretty much don't be Michael Bay. And I think most people will tell you that when it comes to action movies. Um, when I remember when I watched The Rock, I was really wanted to get into that storyline. I really wanted to get into the story where it had Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery and Ed Harris and the guy from Terminator who played Kyle Reese. But it was just a 2 hour, if not a 2.5 or a 3 hour action scene. It was just um, the storyline that was hidden under the script somewhere was just buried by these action scenes. It was just I couldn't get into the action scenes. They weren't even that good. They were trying to tell the story within the action scenes, and I really don't think a film should do that. Um, and even when the film did slow down a bit to tell the story, that wasn't very good either. So it's just one of those films where whenever it was given an opportunity to be good again, it never pursued it. And I don't think a film should ever do that. Um, so when you make a film, make sure it's not a 2 hour action scene. Make sure you give your film time to breathe, to give us the storyline that's what's actually going on. I already kind of explained this, but don't use action for the sake of action. I understand it's an action movie. I understand you're making an action film in the action genre, but make it exist for a reason. Don't just blow us away with whatever. Blow us away for a reason. Blow us away and make us happy at the same time, I guess. This kind of goes for any movie also. No bad acting and no bad fighting choreography, specifically for action movies, since there's a lot of fighting choreography in that, a lot of weapon choreography and all that kind of stuff. Um, or CGI choreography when it comes to this new motion capture technology we're seeing a lot. Um, just don't do it. Just avoid it. Give us something reasonable. Train your actors. Train them to pursue whatever vision you have. I think all that's very important to a film. Um, and this goes for most films too. Always have a good flowing script. Always make sure the script works. It flows well. Look at David Fincher films when it comes to flow. The guy can make his stories flow so interestingly and good, and he just can pursue it, especially with the film The Social Network. Um, so that's all very important. So that was kind of my discussion for this, you guys. Like I said, I'm going to do this for several more genres. If you have any more questions about the action film genre for me, I would definitely be willing to answer them for you. But I really wanted to do this genre first because it's such an important genre to me, and a lot of my favorite films fall under this genre. So I hope to see you guys here for a next video, and it might even be another genre discussion.